Hello, cultural resetters. So excited to have you back. I am so thrilled to present the artist that we are talking to this week. Joining us from Denver, Colorado, been bopping around the country, doing all kinds of tours. Much respect and love to NotLö. Welcome.
Woo!
NotLö,
Thank y'all for having me.
You are iconic. I am so thrilled to be sitting down with you. Your energy as like a person and as a creative is so respectable. I mean, the work that you have done behind the scenes, and with your fans, like I saw you interacting with your fans at Luminescence Music Festival.
Oh yeah, I always will do that because I wouldn't be playing anything if I didn't have fans. So why not talk to the people that are helping your dreams come true and believe in you?
Yeah, and a lot of the music industry kind of like not shames, but like points out, like fangirls screaming and such, and like being like, oh, look at all those little fangirls. It's like those are the ones making the industry run. Like, let's
I know. Yeah, they're the ones at every show, like every festival, traveling around to go see all their artists that they love too. So
oh yeah,
I'm totally on the same page.
How did you?
I really want to start off kind of with, unless Shay, did you want to say something else? I was going to start off with like your creative journey, NotLö, where you got your start.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, wherever you guys want to go with first, I'm fine with that too. That's cool.
I want to know about your creative experience. Like, did you start off as that fan? Like, where did you approach music?
So it was about 5 years ago. Me and I used to live in Charleston, South Carolina. I was born in South Carolina. And I was just always such a fan of Closey's music, Odessa's. I had a lot of wide variety of tastes too with electronic music before I'd settle into my sound, I guess I would say. Mm-hmm. But I remember a couple of my guy friends would be mixing on the DJ boards all the time. We were just chilling and whatnot. And I was like, wait, I want one. I want to mix because I'd always mess around with it. And then, so I started out mixing, and then I would pretty much beg to play people's house parties in Charleston and then play at those. And then I just always thought after mixing so much, I was like, I want to make my own sounds, basically is what came into my head. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really know what style of music I wanted to make. I just really wanted to get involved and get started with it. And so I downloaded Ableton, what I used to make my music, about 4.5 years ago. And I was still in South Carolina at the time. And I was just kind of making very horrible beats at the time. Just really, really bad. I mean, they're all horrible, but those are really bad.
Okay, but you got to start somewhere.
So yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Or else, it was more fun to learn that way too. Just oh, that's not really what I should be doing kind of thing. And then I really wanted to get more serious with it. So, and I also just didn't think I myself as a person belonged living in South Carolina. I was like, I want to get out of here kind of thing too. Mm-hmm. And I had visited Colorado before. And so I started looking up schools for audio engineering in Colorado. Mm-hmm. And I found, because they're also going to be very expensive because I was out of state too. But I looked at this one school called Rocky Mountain College of Art and Design. And so I applied there and got in for their audio engineering program. And it was only 30 to 50 people in it. So it was not a big program at all. It's probably their least looked at thing, but they still had really good professors and everything and great internships. So I started an internship in Denver for, it was called Conway Studios. And during the internship, I was just learning a lot. And I was actually learning from a desert house producer. He made a lot of houseier music, obviously. But you can learn from anybody, whatever you want to do, obviously. He got his master's from Berkeley. He had a lot of experience. So it was really dope learning from him. But then midway through, before I could even complete a whole year, I completed one semester. And a few months in, they said they're going to stop funding the audio engineering program for next year. And I was like, well, this sucks. And then also at this time, this is my third attempt at college because I never found something I liked. And then of course when I found something, it was being stopped, and I was like, great.
Yeah.
But then my internship, he still wanted me to come once a week, and we could just hang out. We would just smoke and just learn about music together and make beats, and it was fun doing that for a long time. And then he actually ended up moving to Greece last year, so then we still keep in touch and whatnot. So I just like took it upon myself to teach everything, because at that time I was like, okay, this third time I'm not gonna go try to another school for a fourth time. I was just like, I'm just gonna learn this on my own, because I had a good grasp, and there's a lot of information on the internet too about what I was studying, like YouTube, like bigger musicians blogs and whatnot, just learning from them. So I just I had a very big boost and start, but the rest of everything I just started to self-learn. But it's been fun doing that too. It's been very rewarding, because I still like don't know everything I need to know, which is the crazy thing about music. I feel like you never know everything about production.
Definitely not.
Yeah, so that's been cool going through that journey. And I didn't really play any legitimate shows. Like before that, I told you guys I would play like house parties, and then I actually entered in this, it was like a local talent kind of thing at one of the theaters in Denver. It was called the Roxy Theater. And you like had to like sell 20 tickets to even like play kind of thing, so you could like get on stage and do whatever. And I remember I did not know anybody either, and it wasn't like my project was known either. So like I remember I even bought like 10 tickets on my own just so I could play. And then like when I played for a small audience, I realized how much I loved it and how I wanted to keep pursuing it. And then from there, I just started sending my music to labels like Mean Mug Music. They're a smaller label that I first started working with. I just sent my stuff to them, and he was just kind of like, oh, I like your music. And he wanted to just like try and put me on some more shows and whatnot. And he was like telling me he saw my potential and all that. And he liked my mixing style, and just, he said the same thing you guys say. And I always feel blessed to say that he liked my energy. And I'm like, oh my God, what? Why me? But, and then he just helped me out. His name's Kyle Hoffman. Big shout out to him, first believer in my project. And so I started playing a couple shows. Like I was playing the lounge at the Black Box. I just started, emailing a lot of people trying to get my name out there and whatnot. Then it just became a very addicting hustle that I wanted to keep doing this, obviously. So I just obviously kept making music too. And I think the biggest thing ever was just for me just sending it out to a lot of people and not being scared of the what if they say no or just don't reply, because like whatever. If they don't, like, I can keep going after it and see if someone will, catch on to it. And so that's just been mainly like the hustle from the beginning, just sending my stuff out to people and reaching out to promoters and managers and all of that stuff too. And then luckily it's just kind of been building obviously in an upward slope, which is just such a blessing. So I've been very happy about that.
Yeah. When was your transition from independent artist to working with a manager?
Oh, so, well, they were, when I worked, started working with Mean Mug, the first little label I started working with, it was around, I'd like to say 2018, 2019, that time range. And then a year after that, like I did like a couple shows. I did a DJ battle and played like Backwoods Music Festival, and then I submitted my music to this like contest thing for Sonic Bloom for that festival in Colorado here. So I got a couple big plays on my own and stuff, and just sending my stuff to random people out of state too. But then actually when quarantine happened, that was probably like, I guess like a year later, I just started making a lot more music, and then I sent it out to Truth from Deep, Dark, and Dangerous. And I also sent it out to Liquid Strangers team. I was just trying to think outside, like, I've resonated with a lot of these people's sounds, like they've influenced me. So I just wanted to share my music with them to see if that would, help anything, even with just like releases. And Truth actually was like hit me back up like right at the beginning of quarantine. And the whole birth of my first EP with them came upon. I just like started sending them a lot of music, and he just told me, he's like, I really like these couple of songs, blah, blah, blah. And which was a really amazing thing for me. And then he started putting me on some, when we were doing safe shows during quarantine, like with table sat or like socially distant ones too.
Mm-hmm.
And then that kind of happened. And then Brandon Reckno, but we both have the same manager obviously now. And he like just kind of told David about me and was like, you know, I think you need to give her a chance. Like, there's not many lesbians. This is literally what he said. Not many lesbians in the scene making dark, heavy music. You need to check her out and all of that. And he just kind of hit me up during the middle of quarantine, kind of towards this upcoming year. And he said he just wanted to work with me. And I made the transition. I stopped working with Mean Mug Music, not in a bad terms way. I just wanted to start working with him so I could start building things more because he's very experienced and been around a lot, you know, and I really wanted to just take a chance with him, see what could happen. Because it was a very big lull during quarantine. Like, I wasn't unsure if this was going to be a thing that I could get my project moving to just playing shows only. And then luckily it's worked out, but it was very big. It was kind of a scary decision just to, you know, hop in his hands, but I knew he was doing good things with Brandon. And then he got me in contact with my agent, Mary, and who's also a fellow lesbian as well. So we're all queer on the team, and I love it. So that's also a very cool thing for me, I think.
Yeah.
And, so we all started working together and things are just happening, and it's been obviously insane, but it's been hard to take in at the same time too, because like right when quarantine was over, I felt like all these crazy cool things happening, and it's just going well, and it's just such a blessing.
So I am really intrigued by the fact that your representation almost similarly represents your identity, you know, like working with a queer team, they have a better understanding of you. And it's, you know, not like working with a white cis man who is hetero and maybe doesn't understand your perspectives or your outlook.
Yeah. And like struggles too with being a girl in the industry, because you do get slighted a lot. Like just even like I'll just go on stage and stage managers not think I'm the artist. They're like, "What are you doing up here?" I'm like, "I'm NotLö. I'm about to play." You know, just talking all these things like that, and like,
yeah,
I know it's gonna happen, but like, it also seems to be getting better. Like I see lots of women rising up right now, and just people from the whole LGBTQ community are just rising up right now too. Like I can think of, you know, Brandon, more Kismet, so many people I know, Closey.
Miss Titty. We talked to Miss Titty last week.
Yes, also her.
And they were talking about the same thing about walking up on stage and having their credentials and being like, "I'm sorry, who are you?" You know, like,
yeah,
it's just like, "Excuse me, I'm the talent."
Yeah, I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, like, I don't really, what you just said just blew my mind. Like, I can't even believe that, like, you walked up on a stage and, like, they didn't even recognize you and you're, like, performing at the show. Like, are you kidding me? Like, that really, like, have you had any other experiences in the industry like that where, like, you feel like you've been, like, erased for some weird reason because of your identity?
Yeah, I just feel it. There's been moments like that for sure. Like, I mean, also just with like people taking my music seriously kind of thing too. Like, I know I'd send it to some people and they would like not really like look at it until like cool things started coming from my project type of thing, you know, too.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I don't know if that's directly just gender related, but I know they would like be looking at other people in the underground too, and they happen to be, you know, boys. But
well,
so
EDM specifically has a very interesting timeline to it because it came from like the Black queer communities of Detroit and somehow transitioned into a majority white cis male space. You know, like a lot of the shows are still filled up with those, you know, like those who identify like that as headliners. But you're definitely right, like that this space is being like pulled back to the people that got it started.
Yeah, it is slowly but surely, you know, I think it's gonna keep going in a positive direction.
Right. So you have had quite a year this year, though, and I kind of want to talk about how you're balancing things. I mean, you've been on tour a lot.
Yeah.
You've been putting out a lot of projects. You've been collabing with a lot of different creatives. Like, how have you been able to balance that, with your mental health?
That's a good question. I'm like, am I okay?
It's also okay not to be okay.
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. And like, I mean, I also during quarantine made like a lot of music. So a lot of what's being released was also, things are being made while I was just sitting still, like not doing anything, seeing if I can get unemployment money because I lost my job type of thing, So I was just, that kind of stuff, just sitting there. And so that helped a lot, that time period, to give me a lot of music to play for people once we got back to it, and for me to decide how to release them and whatnot as well. Because I've still definitely made a lot of new tracks and ideas started since I began touring really heavily in June this past year. But it's definitely been hard because like I'll be home for like 3 days in between. And like sometimes the last thing I want to do is open my laptop just because I'm tired,
Mm-hmm.
Not because I don't want to. Like it even makes me have anxiety. I'm like, I really want to make something, but I'm tired. Like my brain needs rest kind of thing,
Mhm.
So like that's been a thing for me to learn how to balance. And I have like 2.5 weeks coming up off before Halloween weekend of all my shows, and so I'm really excited about that too. Which will be a nice thing to do. Like I'm gonna keep that in mind to do often, to give myself, a little bit of time, not just 3 days at a time, and that way I can just take care of myself, like just spend time with my dog, my girlfriend, but luckily my girlfriend does get to go to a lot of the shows with me. But it's nice just to do things at home that are like you're not going through an airport 3 times in a weekend sometimes. But don't want to sound like I'm complaining about it because it's all I've wanted.
Oh,
but
of course. It's
yeah,
almost like you love that sense of insanity and just
oh
like
yeah,
go. Like I could, yeah, like you were
I
saying
was just
earlier
telling
about
him, I'm like,
loving
I
that
love
hustle.
chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need it in
So
my life, I think.
chaos is really necessary, I think, in this industry because everything is just naturally chaotic. So if you can't cope with chaos, then it's going to be tricky for you.
Yeah, exactly, I agree 1000%. So that's
I
been
actually
like
have a
good.
question. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying, yeah, so that's been good to like for myself to learn how to balance it out. Because I mean, I just had to do a whole trial and error thing and see how I was, responding to only having like 3 days at home in between kind of thing. Now I've realized like what I need to do to keep everything going smoothly.
Mm-hmm. Wait, and before we move on, any tips for like maintaining yourself while touring?
I like, you know, I used to love going like out late, staying till like up till like sunrise sets, and like, going to after parties and stuff. But then my biggest tip for everyone is literally just when you're done playing, like, to an extent, unless your best friend's about to play after you or something, or an artist you're dying to see, just go to sleep. Like go back to your hotel, do whatever you need to do, drink water, get some food in, and like just getting as much rest as you can in between those, airport runs and then your show. Because like I obviously, well, you saw I put a lot of energy into my sets.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just natural. So I just definitely need to make sure I rest myself afterwards good. And that's been the key for me coming home. Like I played Firefly this weekend. I was there for 3 days in a row, and then I played Brooklyn the Thursday night before Firefly, and like I'm fine now. And I was like, probably because I ate great meals, got to sleep around like midnight ish, 1 a.m. usually, not like, too late after I played and stuff like that. So, and sleeping in is a good thing too, if you can.
Sleep and nourishment.
Take a later flight. Don't take the 8 a.m. flight unless it's cheaper, which is also a dilemma sometimes. I'm like, well, it's a lot cheaper to fly out at 8 a.m., but
Oh my God.
yeah.
That is so insane. I'm
Right?
sorry.
I know sometimes like I'll have to take like 6 a.m. flights, and I'll be like, but then I'll see the other big artists, like the headliners going to the airport at the same time as me. I was like, so everyone just has to go through this. 'Cause
Right.
it's
So
just
you're not
like,
alone.
Yeah. So sometimes you just got to do it because sometimes that's the only flight to get you in time, to the next stop. So you can have a little break at your hotel before, blah, blah, blah. So I've just been very conscious of been trying to make good flight decisions too.
Mhm.
Wow. I
Wise.
mean, so, like, yeah, that's very wise.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining myself in a situation now, just like, listen, imagine me on a red-eye flight. Nah, there's nothing, it just wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
It would be
I
better
am a
for
different type
the
of,
late nights.
Yeah. That's what
so,
sucks because it's always the red eyes or the butt crack of dawn flights that are going to be the cheapest too. But sometimes it's worth the extra $50 or so to sleep in for sure.
Oh yeah. When you're tired, you're like, my rest is worth $50.
No, I'm like, I'm kind of broke, but it's okay. I'd rather sleep.
you touched on something before too, about like you had a job too that you lost, and that happened during the pandemic and all this was going on. What is it kind of like as an artist, working professionally in your field, but also, having to kind of make money on the side like that, like having to like have that employment that's kind of steady income?
So it's like most places, are not going to hire you to work like Tuesday through Thursday. That's like a big thing too. So, I mean, even my agent talked about, she's like, I mean, there's so many ways you can make money as an artist besides playing shows, whether it's your streaming, Bandcamp releases, or merch drops and things like that. And that's what I've been having to focus on too. Cause so like, you know, up and coming artists, like they're paying you still, but like it is a little bit of a struggle, with everything still with money, but it's stuff, those things are hopefully on an upward trend, but you have to like, I've definitely been having to budget, think about my flights more often, certain travel methods. Like we took a train from Philly to Firefly because it was like $100 total for me and my girlfriend versus like 400 for flights and stuff like that. So I've just been
Also, love trains. You get to see everything on the way.
yeah, no, it was great actually because I was like, why I don't have to go through TSA and stuff right now, and I can just have whatever in my bag. I don't have to worry about packing my liquids in a certain way, kind of thing. It was nice. So it was nice to do a train, and it's pretty fast too. So I just have to think of all these little things, to budget, and because I could also like, I remember I door dashed a lot too, like during the pandemic, and because it's nice I can do that on like my own schedule.
Mhm.
But that's been the struggle though, like realizing that nowhere is going to really want me for 3 days to hire me because it's not like I have an old job with like good credibility because that office just kind of shut down that I was working at. It was just like a phone call job. But you know, doing that and just brainstorming merch ideas and making sure my streaming, like I just keep releases up. So streams are just keeping consistent and stuff too. And like download purchases and all of that as well. But it's been a struggle, but I'm like learning the ropes around it. The credit card I have saves me. Got to put things on credit a lot, but that's okay.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about your philanthropy side because I know that you also are very much like behind the NAACP and also RAINN, which is an organization that supports
Yeah.
those who've been gone through sexual abuse. So I wanted to know, like, what is your tie to that, or your motivation?
Well, I will never know people's struggles exactly. I always want to say I'm never, you can't really always put yourself in their shoes because you won't know how that feels to be, treated certain ways, just between sexual abuse, racism, and just overall, just negative hate towards any type of person like that's not a straight white cis white cis male. So it's like I feel like most people struggle with just day-to-day things of hatred and little minor things of segregation. It's kind of bullshit that everyone still deals with that. And so that's why I've always been passionate about helping out the NAACP as well, because I gave all my EP purchase funds for that too as well. Because it just really woke me up, during quarantine as well, just being able to stop and look at the world going crazy around you, everything, just realizing how many bad things are happening around you that, that you could actually help with. And that's why I started the NotLö and Friends live stream after I did the donations for my EP, because I was like, I need to think of a way to like even more big brain and get more money in too, obviously, instead of just something that I release to help others. And I also think, sexual assault is a really big thing, unfortunately, in our scene. And I also think just people need to have their attention brought to it, even if they couldn't donate money on these streams and whatnot. It's like you're watching it, and we'd have little in between artists, we'd have clips going just of like people talking and people from the company RAINN itself talking, and it went so well. We raised like $1,000 I think for that stream, and it was nice to be able to, it's not much in the grand scheme of things, but it's just nice being able to actually help these industries to actually directly help people as well.
Yeah, and also connecting people to those resources is huge. Just knowing is a big step. So the fact that you're just
being aware,
platform, getting the word out is huge.
Yeah, and that's why I decided to do another one, and I did it for a homeless shelter actually in Colorado. So it's just I want to keep doing it. Obviously, it's kind of harder now because nobody really cares about stream because we're kind of back to
it's like this transition mix.
Yeah. But like a big goal of mine is when I get bigger, I really want to be able to help out all these organizations have been helping out, like maybe even like with shows though, like making like in my contract like $2 of every ticket sale goes to this organization and stuff too. Like obviously if on a bigger scale with my artistry, because I don't really think that would help that much right now, but like if I can get to a point where I can sell out big venues, that would help a lot. I think just being able to do that on the tour stops too.
Today it's $1,000, tomorrow it's $10,000.
Yeah, like whatever it could turn into, that'd be great.
Yeah,
it's so beautiful that you think like that too. Like you're already thinking about ways that you can use your artistry not just for your own gain, but to actually tangibly impact like other communities.
Yeah, exactly. Because like, I mean, it's good that people bring awareness, but it's nice to see. I just feel like I always wanted to see people actually helping, because there's a lot of artists that do great things like that. Like Closey donates so much money to different charities and whatnot too, and seeing other people do that, I'm like, I should help too, because like it's just like a small drop in the bucket. We all should be all contributing and helping for a better cause. Because I mean, like, what else? Like, especially when you see a really big artist, I'm like, what do you spend your money on? I don't know how much money you're making. Like, you can help out so many people.
It's not to say that like it's bad for artists that are like really, really wealthy or really successful to spend their money on things that they want. That's not necessarily bad.
Yeah, not even saying that either. Because like you deserve it. Go get a cool car.
Yeah, go get a cool car.
Go
get a cool car. Go get like nice shoes. But like at the end of the day, like I think Lil Baby's a great example. Like Lil Baby, he's going to spend money on a nice watch and a nice car and some nice things. But at the end of the day, like he donates to like really incredible organizations. He has a couple of like ground organizations that he himself actually started to help his community. Like he's actually doing the work, to help people while also, buying some good stuff for himself too. So I think that, I don't know, I really kind of see that in you as well. Like that sort of like, care.
Yeah. Like I'm not saying like if I ever like made it big, I wouldn't buy a dope like watch or something, but like I would definitely like don't want artists think I'm saying don't treat yourself. I'm definitely not like that, but like there's ways they can even do it without like directly just pulling out of their bank, just like with their shows, like I was saying, like doing charity drives and shows and portions of sales going to stuff like that too.
I also think it sets a precedence in this community and the music community and the EDM community that is the priority of the creatives, and the fans are there for the creatives and they support that. And so it really just steps that up, that it's very much at the forefront of our community.
Yeah, I agree.
Like you were saying, like specifically in the EDM community, during COVID, a lot was kind of revealed about some really, like some fuck shit that was happening behind the scenes and beneath the surface.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I think that now more than ever needs to be set as the precedence, and like go forward in a healing way and support these people and get the right resources, but also like prevent it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree with that 100%. It's very, because like I also just noticed like how much fans really are like influenced by their artists, like and stuff too. Like if they see them helping these things, like sorry, my lighting's going bad. If they see them helping these things, that they're becoming more aware of it, and they're like, oh, why not help if I can too, type of thing.
Right.
So like, people they look up to, they really do have a big influence on them. So I feel like it's best to try and keep things of good interest at the forefront, like you said.
So I have a question. Who do you think who do you look up to in the community that you believe are setting this precedent, who are the cultural resetters, the ones who are really out there doing the thing?
Yeah. Well, I really think the first two people that come to my mind is Grizz and Closey, because like Grizz is such a great person too, and like he's also been a big pivotal, I think, for artists to feel more comfortable expressing their sexuality too. Also Brandon Reckno too, like they both, when I think about that, they're both people that are wanting others to feel comfortable with showing off who they are if you want to, you know what I mean? That it makes you, they've really created a shift where people, especially artists and stuff, are very proud about their identity too, and which is so dope to see, because like I always tell Brandon that like he's always made me realize to be more comfortable with being myself with my music and like on stage and stuff too, like. And also Closey, like not from a different kind of standpoint, like she's always like helping charities, and so is Grizz too. He always does so many big charity streams and shows and whatnot too, which I think is so cool. And also just like the way I see Closey handle things with her fans, like she literally will go in big crowds and interact with everyone, talk to everyone, and like, she has hundreds of people going up to her and stuff, and like just seeing how like genuinely she like connects with people and like is a very nice person to everyone too. Like I think that those three people are very great people in our scene, basically.
I am a fan of all of those people. And like, I really, we've been sitting down having conversations. We got to talk to Reckno, we got to talk to Miss Titty, and now we get to talk to you. And I like, I am really appreciating having these conversations with this community, because I think it does set a good precedence for the music industry as a whole.
I agree.
So is there any issue that you have either come across or just seen within the music industry that you wish would change?
No, I mean, not really necessarily. Besides like, the random, I guess, it's not like hatred, but it's just like people just aren't really looking out as much for people of color, women, anybody in the LGBTQ community. But I'm also just seeing more like management teams and big agencies wanting to lift them up now. Like it's been some kind of shift, where like people like are just being supported more too. So I can't complain in that aspect. It's nice to see like the shift like we were talking about, but I know it happens every day, and like I can't speak for everyone saying that there's not any bad things regarding that happening. But personally, I haven't had anything too rough besides the random misogyny. But other than that, that's all I can really think of. And which is nice. I'm really blessed to be able to say that, obviously, because like I said, I can't speak for everyone. But I also think that I may experience something that'll piss that can make me mad or be kind of upsetting, or not gonna rule that out. But I think this shift is really happening and helping people feel more uplifted and included, and which is all I really care about too. Like the whole, I just want everyone to feel, especially at my shows, like I don't want any homophobia, no racism, no fat shaming, none of that bullshit. I just want everyone to feel like they belong, I guess. I guess that kind of sounds cliche, but it's true.
Oh, it's very, very true. And kind of going back to what you were saying about the industry making these changes, I guess for me, like I just really hope that these changes are around to stay.
Yeah,
I feel like we've had a lot of conversations about this, and like there's some minimal changes in the entertainment industry when it comes to inclusion on this level, but sometimes it just doesn't stick around. So
that's a big fear I have too, actually. Not even it's like that is a big thing. Sometimes people want to help it because it seems cool to help.
Because it's good for PR.
Yeah. And you can, and it's, and like, I have met some, or come across of instances in the industry where like people want women, but they want them to be that they're like wanting them to like be like a sexy kind of thing.
Yeah.
I want to, but I don't know how to describe that without saying like, because we all are sexy. Like we all should feel sexy.
But not
package and market that sexiness in order to make a quick buck at the expense of the artists themselves.
Yes. Okay.
Classic age-old story.
Yeah, you're better with words than me. Yeah. So that's why I like noticed that happening around me, and that's not really how I go about my artistry personally. I love flaunting being a woman though, like it's not like that. Like I'm proud, love to feel sexy, all that too, it's just like, you get what I'm saying.
Oh
yeah. So but not well as long as there's people like you in this industry, because like this whole industry is built on the backs of creatives. Like you're the reason why we are paying money to the music industry, to your manager, to your agents. Like you're the reason why this is happening. Like as long as there are creatives like you who make sure that the spaces that they're in don't tolerate any of that foolishness that the industry's been known for the past 50, 100 years. Like I really think that as long as artists like you continue to kind of forge that path, we'll be all right. I think that's the only way, I guess, lasting change could really happen.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. And I'm glad that naming Grizz and Recno and Closey, there's a lot of people like that are just very passionate about the genuine creativity and acceptance of everyone too. So that's good to see that there are, and I hope people keep pioneering that energy into it.
Yeah, high hopes.
Yeah, same here.
To round things out, because we're coming to the end.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about what you've got coming up?
Oh yeah, well, I just dropped an EP with Vacan, but I'm gonna self-release a track around my birthday in November too. And then I'm doing a Halloween run. I'm doing San Francisco and Halloween with Becca. We're doing some back-to-backs to kind of like close off our tour for me and Vale. And so I'm doing that. And then today I just announced I'm going on tour with LS Dream, which I'm super excited about. It was really crazy. It happened because I was performing for Closey at the beginning of the summer at her festival event she did in Wyoming, and he basically just kind of came up to my agent afterwards and told her that he like really enjoyed my performance and stuff and wanted to get me involved with things. And then the next thing I know, he like, it came, sometimes I always like, are these just like high hopes kind of things? But then it happened, and it's dope. He's actually putting on another girl as well, and he's putting a lot of different kind of people on. And he even put Vale on for one of the tour stops too. He's just he's also a very good person. He's one of those people also, when you talk to him, you can just see the great energy, and that he has good intentions with everything too. And he loves uplifting people from the underground too, and like being able to help everyone out, not just like certain types of people. And he's really just all about it for the music, you can tell, which is good. very refreshing with meeting someone big. Yes, I'm really excited about that tour, but that's taking place next year, so I'm really excited about that. I'm looking forward to that one for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm also excited for you to have a little bit of a break here. And your birthday coming up. Are you a Sagittarius? Scorpio?
I'm a Scorpio.
Oh.
Yes, I am.
Very nice.
Yes, my birthday is November 8th, and I'm actually going to see, I was like, okay, I'm buying myself tickets to Red Rocks to see Ganja White Night, Truth, and Caspa. So that's what I'm gonna do for my birthday treat. I got tickets for my girlfriend. I was like, listen, this is my birthday present I'm buying myself right now. We need to go.
Yes.
I'm surprised the tickets haven't sold out yet. So I'm just glad we got them. They might be now, I don't know. And then we're also gonna go see Closey and Up the Trees and Ellis Dream at Red Rocks too in a few weeks actually. So I'm excited to do that. It's nice to be able to go attend some shows too when I'm off and like not working, you know.
Mm-hmm. And that venue is sick. It's probably, in my humble opinion, one of the best in the country. So
I agree for sure. It's definitely up there. It's so amazing. That's why, and I haven't gone at all this year, and I didn't go last year either. So I'm like, I need to go. Really need to go. So it'll be really fun to do that for sure, and be able to kick back and watch other people perform, and you can be the fan in the crowd dancing. Yeah, I know. I love doing that. Like
this head banging in.
Yeah, I gotta get my own dancing in. I really do. Like this weekend, my girlfriend and I got to see Meg Thee Stallion and Nelly at Firefly, and we were like, all right, this is like, we're in total thrive mode, because it was nice to be able to attend a big festival too, while like after I played kind of thing, just to enjoy it afterwards. We just kind of took the whole weekend off. I was like, it is so nice to see like these crazy big performances and like, you know, not be working and stuff too.
Yeah.
Nice. I guess to really round things off with our last question that we ask every single artist that we've ever talked to, what advice would you have for any creatives that are POC and or LGBTQ plus or disabled, trying to make a space for themselves creatively in this industry?
I think a really cool thing, in my opinion, is how like I've been like personally just like reaching out to and linking with other, you know, people of color, LGBTQ people, just to, because I feel like we should all just kind of like be friends, you know, like we should all be helping each other and lift each other up too as well. And like this weekend next year when I played at Firefly, the whole stage was pretty much just girls in the LGBTQ community minus a couple people, and it was dope to be able to meet some other people. Like we all made like totally different kind of music, but you know, we're all like good friends now type of thing, and we're all like lifting each other up, you know, sharing up to other people about our music and stuff. And I think it's a cool thing for us just to kind of connect with people too, and don't be afraid to reach out to people. And I also think you should just be, well, maybe, you know, you can be a quiet person, but when I say this, like loud and proud, just definitely own who you are. Because at the end of the day, people just really latch to people that are just being genuinely themselves too.
Right.
It's like, I feel like that's how I relate with most people, and I can see their genuine personality coming out through their music when they're playing, or just like even just small interactions like that.
Be you
and connect with everyone. Yeah, be friends, you know, try and help out everyone around you too, if you can. Not like overstress yourself though. Don't.
Right.
Don't
take on the weight of the world.
Yeah, don't take on the weight of the world, but you know, be there for everyone.
Exactly.
Lift each other up.
Thank you so much for this amazing interview. It was really awesome to get to know you and your experiences and, you know, your perspectives. Always so valuable to us and the listeners. And to our listeners, please make sure to find when NotLö is coming to a town by you and check her out.
I'm so happy you guys wanted to have me. Thank you.
Yes, like and subscribe and follow us and NotLö.
Yes, all that. Do all that.
All right.
All right, everybody. Take care. See you next week.